And joining me now to discuss this is a Senegalese author, political actor, the former director of communications in ECOWAS. He is Adama Gaye. He joins me live from Morocco to discuss the disturbing coup attempt in Guinea-Bissau and just events in West Africa. Good to have you join us, Adama Gaye.
My pleasure being with you. Thank you for inviting me.
So, this is a rather disturbing. 4 coup attempts, or if you could, 4 coups, if you add Chad, and then you also have now the attempt in Guinea-Bissau in West Africa. But let's focus on Guinea-Bissau. That country has seen 9 coup attempts since 1980. But do you think that these are the same issues, or this is give us a wider context of what you think played out here in the recent attempt?
Look, what is happening in West Africa is indeed disturbing, but what's happening in Guinea-Bissau is not surprising. This is a country plagued with military coup. Since its independence in 1974 from Portugal rule, what happened is that ever since Nino Vieira took power in 1980, since then there has been military coup on and on. This is a country that is still living in the shadow of its liberation war. That was a violent one, a conflict one, and this is what is being continued. The situation is compounded by the fact that not only the country is not properly managed at the economic level, but also politically, its people, whether the military or the civilian, they collude into what I call a dual illegitimacy to control power, to take advantage. Some of them using unconventional rules like being in partnership with drug traffickers, like the FARC of Colombia, or just being with rebel and terrorist group roaming around West Africa. So literally, this is not a country properly managed, and nobody is surprised with the poor development in the democratization of the country over the past years, that this coup attempt has been tried again, because violent means seems to be part of the ADN, DNA of the people of this country, Guinea-Bissau.
And the most disturbing part of this is that no elected official at that level has ever been able to complete his tenure in office in Guinea-Bissau. Whilst the president, Sissoko Embalo, says things are in order at this moment, where do you think that country stands now?
This country is still somehow a lost country. It is a failed nation. What we see there is that nothing has been done to manage it economically. People are suffering. It's a very poor country. Investors are not going there. It is barely living out of cashew nuts, some agricultural and fish outcome, and also the drug trafficking and all the kind of mingling with the terrorists. So naturally, with these kind of things, it makes sense to a certain extent that people are always eager to topple government, to entrench themselves until the next coup attempt. And you still have really a mentality of war in that country. When I visited it in the year 1990s to write about its history, the independence war against the Portuguese, what I had observed then was that everybody was talking about the war. It's as if they wanted to be seen as veterans. Now, the people in the country, they're acting as veterans of current conflicts, and they are looking for the next conflict in order to raise upward. You see, even the US government is looking closely to this country. In 2013, it had arrested Bouba Nacho, one of the generals who seem to be accused of being behind the coup, although some are saying that it is a masterminded coup by the current president in trying to eliminate some of his people. But Bouba Nacho, who was the defense chief, had been arrested as a former Marine official by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency off the coast of Guinea-Bissau and sent to jail for 3 years, 2013-2016, in America before being freed. So somehow people may not be surprised that he has become, since then, a spy of the U.S. government. And also the U.S. government is after another former chief of army, General Antonio Gaye, whose head has been put at $5 million by the U.S. government, the intelligence and security services of America.
Just to jump in here, drug trafficking really is a problem in Guinea-Bissau. In fact, it has earned the name narco state. That's one of the promises that Umaru Sissoco Embalo made when he took office, that he was going to fight corruption and drug trafficking. But I want to take this from the ECOWAS point of view, because in a recent interview, the head of ECOWAS Commission did say that sanctions on Guinea-Bissau over the last decade had been successful, because they had helped to return the country to the path of peace. But it would seem that that assessment was premature. What do you think ECOWAS is missing?
ECOWAS is missing everything. ECOWAS has become an empty shell. It's like we say in French, médecin après la mort, or doctor after death, is coming always behind, and its utterances are always out of the loop. To go and say that Mr. Embalo Sissoko is an epitome of democracy in West Africa, or in Guinea-Bissau to be more precise, is just outrageous. Because this guy is suspected to be himself involved in drug trafficking and his terrorist deals. In the past, he used to be one of those young boys of Blaise Compaoré in Burkina Faso, who used to be harboring many of the experts and activists in terrorists, dealing with Libya, with terrorists in the northern part of Africa. And ever since Mr. Embalo Sissoko has become president of Guinea-Bissau, these accusations have not receded. People are still believing that he is colluding with some of his generals to continue the deal with the South American drug traffickers. And beyond all that, the fact is this gentleman, who doesn't have a clue about the issues that the West African region and Africa overall are looking for, has been somewhat involved with other West African leaders, the likes of Macky Sall, Adama Barrow. Even some suspect the president of Nigeria to be involved in what is called a Fulani agenda to try to
so I would like to quickly jump in here, because I would like to speak based on facts and not speculation. So I would like you to answer the question as to what ECOWAS is missing, without the speculation as to who is involved in the Fulani headers farmers crisis in Nigeria and other parts of the continent.
Well, yes, but we have to look at the facts. Let's look at what people are saying. We cannot just push that aside. There is an agenda being discussed in many circles. We have to put it in the attention of people who are listening to us. Refugee analysis, we have to go in depth, not just please authorities. I am not here for that. Just to repeat what I said about ECOWAS, is outdated to a large extent, because most of its decision processes are flawed. So they are behind putschmakers who are civilians. So we also have to look at people who are trying to bring about agenda that would end up putting people, one another, or populations against other populations, tribes and other problems that need to be addressed, not just put under the carpet. This is something very serious that you journalists have to address, not to shelve and try to shy away from. We have to look at the issue as it is.
If I may jump in quickly, because I think I have just a few minutes left. I wouldn't want you to leave without talking to you about this. Africa, the West Africa used to be known as the Coup belt. It almost seems as if we're returning to that. It does look like, again, like ECOWAS has his hands full in condemning these coups. The sanctions doesn't seem to be working. We've seen 2 coups in Mali. Is there a way forward from here? Because it does also seem like this is becoming an inspiration to other countries within the continent, or to other militaries within the continent, to carry out coups or coup attempts. Does it speak to the fact that military is too close to power, or does it speak to the fact that there is a leadership crisis in Africa?
there is a leadership crisis. There is a double lack of legitimacy from the military, who clearly are not supposed to be in charge of running countries. They are supposed to be in their barracks and ensuring peace, security, physical integrity, and developing some projects for their countries, not running the country. So there is a legitimacy problem there. But also there is a legitimacy problem from the civilian, and ECOWAS is not addressing that. It seems to be, to a large extent, a club of heads of state. If that is not stopped, there will be a problem. Furthermore, you need to address the other challenges, like promoting economic development, because if people are not happy with the way their countries are being run, if the crisis from health, from development, from other sectors are not addressed by competent leaders, people will come up with unconventional solutions, and part of those unconventional solutions are military takeover. They could lead even to worse, as we have seen it in the 1980s, 1970s, to civilian war, like in Liberia, and in many of the West African countries, to Nigeria, to Ghana, to Benin Republic. We used to have this kind of coup. Now, why they are back? Because the civilians to whom was given the right to rule the countries, they have failed. They have accepted that, and ECOWAS should take a breath and stop altering these kind of attacks against the military. The problem is deeper than that. If we don't do that, and if we don't have a serious conversation about the way forward, we will continue walking on the wrong path forward, unfortunately.
It is rather disturbing to see these coups in West Africa and just also in Africa, because there was a coup as well in Sudan. We'll continue to monitor these events, and as they unfold, we will have conversations with you. Thank you so much for talking to us, Senegalese author, political actor, and former director of communications with ECOWAS, Adama Gaye.
Thank you for having me.